being unafraid to be who you are and not trying to conform to what you think is expected of you.
Welcome to Working Women Mentor, a podcast where you will find a mentor moment in every episode. We are meeting incredible women from around the world with real stories and learning from the moment that changed it all for them. I'm your host, Rainey Alfers, and I'm ready to introduce you to our next guest. Hey everyone, welcome back to Working Women Mentor. I'm your host, Rainey Alfers, and thanks for joining us. We've had a wonderful season break. It's been a fantastic time to decompress and unplug and listen to other people's podcasts. I'll give you some recommendations in the show notes on what I'm listening to. But today we get to meet our guest, Brittney Fairweather. She is the Chief Business Development Officer at TRX Capital. She has a vast knowledge and experience in all things real estate, strategies, operation, private money lending, and the list goes on. But what she's sharing with us today are incredible mentor moments of things that she's learned along the way as she has been developing and growing in her career and in life, quite frankly. She is a working mother. She is a relationship focused lady. I love this about her because we all know it's who we surround ourselves with. And she has some great insight on developing those professional relationships, which are not always easy. So there is so much more to share about this episode, but please jump in. Here we go. Brittney Fairweather. Brittney, how are you today?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. We want to hear everything you're working on, your views on mentorship, everything in the workplace that you can share. We really appreciate it. Would you mind giving a brief introduction of yourself to our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Brittney Fairweather. I am real estate finance executive, been working in real estate finance and all things real estate investment and development for about almost 20 years now. We are a women-led company. We are a women-founded company. Our team of women have been together for 15 years or more. And so this conversation and this particular podcast, I think is going to be super exciting and super meaningful and special to me because it's really important for us and our entire team to be focusing on mentorship specifically for women in business and really just being able to grow and increase awareness on struggles and issues and have the conversations that are tough to have sometimes being a woman in business and how we can groom and mentor and grow other women that are coming up behind us.
That's such a great perspective. At the start, we asked you to text a friend and share what they had to say about you because it's just powerful to hear these messages when we need them the most. So, what did your friend say about you, Brittney?
So this is the one that I got last night. I was going through the messages. My mentor, actually, one of the women that I worked with and had the pleasure of working alongside for so many years, was traveling back from a trip from the East Coast out to the West Coast. She said, honestly, I would say that you're Wonder Woman. I don't know how you do this. I can barely do it with just myself. You do this traveling with 4 kids in tow while working. That's the one I got back last night. Traveling with 4 kids, balancing a career. You definitely have a full plate. And I bet you've learned some, I don't want to say tips and tricks because they're really not tricks. They're just ways of life at a certain point. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about what you're working on, your career journey, if you will. Would you give us a behind the scenes of what business development is? I know you've had a lot of different roles within that finance and real estate piece. So walk us through that. Business development, really, the way I view it and the way our team really tries to embody is not just growing revenue for a company. It's not just growing sales. It's not just growing different products or incorporating new strategies. It's really about problem solving. It's really about listening to our clients with an open mind and a strategic vision and really figuring out how we can create product solutions, any type of value add that they need to solve a problem by listening to them and really hearing what they're saying, even sometimes without recognizing they're saying it, is really truly where we drive a lot of our value and business development and where we drive a lot of the strategy and direction of our company is really listening to the needs and goals of the clients that we're working with.
It's a much deeper dive beyond just having great relationships. You've got to have much more than that to stay in business, to remain relevant, to go deeper than others. Like you have to be in this. So, as Chief Development Officer, TRX Capital, I know that you've had moments, these pivotal moments in your career to get you where you are now. So, I'd love to hear some of those where you just realize this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I can do. This is what I want to do. What were those like for you, Brittany?
So I think one of those defining moments really would have been early in my career in real estate finance. It's a very male dominated industry. I had someone tell me that in order to succeed as a woman in this industry, you had to be one of three types of women. I can't even really say what she said. And it was a woman who said it
Feel
because
free,
it's
speak
offensive.
freely. Yeah.
It's offensive. She said, you either have to be a bitch, a bulldog, or a dyke to
Ah,
succeed in this business.
from her, it came from her generation, her life
Right.
experience. And she's literally trying to say, this is what I've observed. I get it.
It takes a lot to shock me. I had a conversation with the founder of our company, and I was like, that can't be the way it is forever. That can't be accurate. That can't be truthful. We have to be able to change that. We have to be able to be our authentic selves and be who we are without trying to fit a box of what the industry thinks we need to be or what historically has come before us. Like we can change the vision of what it means to be a successful woman in this business. And that's really been a core component of how we've grown our company, how we've hired, how we've just viewed ourselves in the industry that we're in since inception.
Yeah, it sounds like her real life advice struck a nerve. I mean, and understandably, you didn't want to accept being labeled. I mean, no one does. You shouldn't have to be labeled, A, B, or C to succeed. So it seems like you're now working to incorporate that same mindset into what you're doing. And kudos to you because often we hand out labels like, oh, she's like this, he's like that, and without really understanding who people are or the value that they bring. And I mean, in my mind, just hearing you, it's a really impressive shift. So, in your strategically driven role, Brittany, you've likely faced challenges where your team has had to rally around you. Is there a particular rally moment that stands out to you?
As our team, we have so many. We've been told that we can't be in the room because we don't look a certain way or because we're not wearing a pantsuit or because we don't fit the bill of middle-aged Wall Street white male. So there's so many moments and so many things where we've just had to break out of that mold and come together as a team. We have men on our team and they support us and we work alongside them wonderfully. So it's not to say that we're always being felt like we are not able to work with the men in our industry. But that's really the most dominant and prominent part of where we've really had to rally together as a team and overcome an obstacle because there's been times where we've been in a room where they look to our male business partner for an answer when they're not the expert in that particular subject matter. And it's like, nope, redirect. This is where you're going to get this answer. This is where you're going to hear the most knowledgeable and skilled response to whatever it is that you're looking to hear.
I'm curious when you're in that moment, how do you respond? Is it this emotionally intelligent response where you understand what is happening clearly, right? There clearly the male in the room. But do you just simply jump in there and say, "Hey, I've got this one," or how are you responding during these situations to let them know that do you even let them know that you get what's going on here, or do you just keep it business and keep moving?
I think generally it's perceived that we're aware. Usually, when we have some of our male counterparts in the room or our business partners that we're working with, they do such a great job of redirecting because they know when they're the subject matter expert, they know if they're talking about finance, they're talking about numbers. Usually, that's one of those members of our team. If we're talking about strategy, we're talking about growth. Like that's usually one of the other members of our team. And we always do a really good job of highlighting each other's strengths. And so I think it just goes the natural flow of the conversation for us. I don't think it needs to be thrown in their face. I don't think it needs to be this drop the mic. This is where we're at. How to respond.
Right. And the goal, I mean, you want to be productive. And I think the mic drop moment that maybe someone might be flashing through in their mind at the conference table is not really productive. It's
It's
counterproductive,
not.
right? And so it's what are we really doing here? Are we here to talk about our egos and our hurt feelings? Or are we here to get a deal done?
Yep, exactly.
So, for women who are aspiring to be in a field like yours, real estate, lending, have the versatile skill set, what advice would you give to them? And then, what suggestions you might have to someone who wants to get better at what they're doing in a real estate or lending career?
I would say do everything yourself. Learn every piece of the puzzle of your operation, of your underwriting, walk a project, process a loan. Literally every element of a transaction you should do yourself because then you will know not only how to hire the right people to help you grow as you transform your business, you'll know and you'll learn how to hire the right people that will do that particular job really well. But you also know how to educate, how to mentor. And then there's also just a much more cohesive team because you can jump in and roll up your sleeves and do every aspect of the business. And that's super crucial. We tested and tried every single thing that we've done ourselves. We've invested alongside our clients. We've bought the same types of inventory that we've sold to them. And we have done it first before we've tried to do it for someone else or advise someone else how to do it. And I think that's been really meaningful, not only as we build our careers and in their success, but also in retaining relationships, retaining clients, because we know what the struggles are that they will see and they have seen and they've been through. And by doing every single piece of that, we can help be a second set of eyes. We can help call out some things to be aware of. And they really think of us more like a strategic partner than someone that they have to check a bunch of boxes for to get a loan from or something like that.
And to have not only skin in the game, but to have the history and the knowledge of how this is operating and working in any industry, I think it's impressive. But specifically where you are, would you say that it's not really the loan, it's more the outcome? It's more the
Sure.
result of
Absolutely. One of the
mhm.
things I was actually just talking with our sales team on, as we start to see compression in our space, as we start to see other of our competitors maybe try to get into some of the product suites where we excel, as we try and teach them and educate them, you're going to hear people say, so and so is going to be able to offer me this, so and so is going to offer me that, or they're coming in now and this is their product. Here's what I told them. I said, they're going to come into the space. They're going to try to compete and bring it. More the merrier. What you can tell those clients that are going to give you some pushback is we did it first. We've walked through the pitfalls. We've experienced the mistakes and we can help guide you through those mistakes and potential pitfalls, but really just knowing and being really confident in the expertise and the experiences is really important.
And confidence is what I heard as you were talking. It's how we say things sometimes. It's the inner confidence in what we're selling, what we're offering, who we represent, whatever role we're in. If you fully believe in what you're doing, your company, your product, your service, it should be pretty easy. And I think this is great advice for any field, quite frankly, because as everyone I think right now is there's some sort of compression, shifting, AI, all kind of things, interest rate environment, just economy. There's a lot facing every business right now. And so the ones who started it first, the ones who know what they're doing, the ones who will be here when the other guys leave because they have no idea what the hell they're doing, those are the ones that we want to
Yep.
work with. And I think that's really relevant to a lot of industries right now. So let's talk about mentorship a little bit more. So, have you had a mentor moment from an influential mentor of your own? I know they texted you some beautiful things. So, it might be that person or someone else. We have all these different people in our life at different times, right? Who can you think of today?
And there's two people that I automatically go to. One is the co-founder of our company and who's mentored me since I was 14 years old. I know she's wonderful. And then
What a
there's
beautiful
another.
relationship.
It is. She's one of my very best friends, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that. I'm very grateful, very blessed, very fortunate to have that and have her in my corner.
Give us an idea of a moment that she taught you or that stands out early on or yesterday.
One of the most meaningful things that I can recall that we've had very extensive conversations on is just authenticity,
Mm.
and really just being unafraid to be who you are and not trying to conform to what you think is expected expected of you or what you think you should be or you should look like or you should say or you should think is meaningful. It's so easy, especially as a young woman in any industry trying to make her way and pave the road that she wants to be on, or any individual, man, woman, you name it. It's really just the intention of being who you are and being meaningful and truthful and authentic to yourself, because it goes a long way with relationships with clients, colleagues, and anyone in business, because they know that when they talk to you, they're really getting you. They're not getting some robotic version of what they think you are trying to say or you think they want to hear. And that's been really powerful for me. And it's helped to not only build our company and build our credibility, but also build a personal brand of who I am to the people that I've worked with, who they can count on, what they know they're going to be able to get from me in all aspects of our business. And I think that's been really helpful for me.
Do you find that it takes less energy to do that? Just be
It does.
you.
It does.
It's so draining to have to put on a show or to try to. I wonder how people do it for a long period of time. I would be literally exhausted at the end of the day if I had to fake my way through every day of what I did professionally or personally or anything.
Yeah, it's exhausting. It can be exhausting for sure. And it's freeing
It's
to
freeing,
be able
isn't
to
it? Yep.
just be yourself. I mean, I answered the phone last night at 6:30 when I was giving the kids a bath for a client that we're trying to close a deal for at the end of the month. He said, "I'm so sorry I'm calling you at the end of the day." I'm like, "It's okay, but I'm answering the phone. I know it's important, but you're gonna hear my kids in the bathtub in the background. This is my life. You want me after hours? This is what you're gonna get."
That's right. I can remember a time where I burned hamburgers that I had on the grill because I had to take a call that was really important to a deal I was working on. I could not take it, but I was like, okay, I'm grilling. And then I got so wrapped up into this conversation that I burned the hamburgers. Started over when I hung up. I was like, dinner will be ready in about another 20 minutes. We're going to do round two. Sometimes that just happens. So, in your leadership role, how do you guys promote mentorship within TRX Capital?
Similar to what we really base our business development strategy on is listening. We're always available to our team. We're always available to other industry professionals. We're always available to our clients. And that has really been not to be a doormat, but we are here to listen, here to strategize, always available to have a genuine, honest conversation about a struggle with no judgment or just advice. And I think that's really created that kind of open, collaborative, strategic platform that we really want to see grow and succeed. And I think it's really meaningful. And that's how we're able to mentor clients. We've had employees that have grown to be customers because they wanted to learn the business and they had a goal of accomplishing something. And we said, okay, let's learn it together for you. Let's educate you on how to do this, give you the credibility to then go out and do it on your own.
You are busy building relationships at every stage and with everyone. I loved what you said earlier about how in a meeting you really know each other's strengths and probably the weaknesses too, because we all have those. But I like that you can pick up on them and you know what they are and recognize them and then build around it. So, picking up where we left off, it's still on mentorship. Have your views on mentorship changed from when you were younger, perhaps in school, to today? I mean, when I was younger, I didn't even understand the concept of what it was. So, I'm curious how this has evolved for you.
The biggest change for me is really not the concept of mentorship or the importance of the relevance. While that has really resonated more as I've gotten older in the industry and in the business, is the importance of it, right? You don't really realize when you're young how important that is and how meaningful and valuable it can be. But more so recently is the importance of mentors outside of your immediate scope and outside of your immediate sphere of influence, outside of your immediate industry. I recently became a member of Chief, and
Okay.
I myself didn't really have an understanding and appreciation firsthand of how valuable other industries' experience can be for our everyday operation, day to day transactions, communications in just the normal course of business. And I've had such great, wonderful, meaningful conversations dealing with struggles collectively together, with these other women that are in completely unrelated industries. Early on, I was really focused on building mentors that I could find within my industry, having dinners for women in the business that I felt who I really wanted to see myself being in 20 years, or men who I just really looked up to and respected and really took time to just sit with and have valuable conversations and didn't put much emphasis on sourcing mentors and opinions from people outside of my industry. And that most recently has become super valuable and I'm really appreciating.
It's really wonderful advice because so many different perspectives are out there. And
Mhm.
if we stay in this isolated world of only our industries, it's hard to get out of that. It's hard to expand and grow our thinking sometimes. I've heard a lot of good things about Chief. Is there anything you want to recommend or describe about it, about joining or your decision to do?
Another piece of advice that I was given about 2 years ago by one of my mentors was really to invest in myself, not only in building my personal brand, but building who I really wanted to be a successful woman in business. So I started looking into it and realized that I thought that it was something that I could really benefit from. That was missing in my world was that community that I could just spend a couple hours once a month that we're my team, my core group is together that we've been chatting, but the other resources that she has are super, super exciting and really meaningful just to be able to reach out to and collect and communicate with
Collaborate.
women,
Yeah.
especially as a mother. And as you get older, it's hard to meet people in
So
general.
hard. And when do you have time?
So it's like matchmaking for
Yeah.
women in business. And it's been really great.
Do you guys meet virtually or in person?
Yeah, they do in person meetups too. I haven't been able to make one yet, but right now everything we've done is virtual.
I like that. That's wonderful. So take us a day in the life of you. What is it like to be Brittany in the fast paced real estate, business development, totally relationship driven role of your career and your normal day?
I have learned that I have to be pretty meaningful with my day and with my schedule. Lots of time blocking.
Yeah. And so for you, yeah, I do time blocking too. I would probably die without my calendar. I don't even
Mhm.
know. Someone would have to point me in a direction for the day if I lost my calendar, right? Because it's just
Yeah.
how I run. There's no other way. If it's not on that calendar, it's not happening. Are you finding with your 4 kids and work, or are you working remotely right now? Or how are you working through the balance?
So the little remote office that I can get to when I need quiet, when I'm doing meetings, conversations that I need to focus and not have some of the chaos. I still have two kiddos that are home, not in school yet. And then we have our main office in the city. And then a lot of my executive team is actually out in California. So I travel a lot, go to the office a lot, and I work from home when I need to. So I've gotten, again, more of that being authentic, that power of just really being able to be genuine with who I am. I've realized when I just need to work from home in my sweatpants and when I
Yeah.
can really be more on top of it. So I just that's really the most important thing for me is really realizing when I need to just say no
Yeah.
and managing the calendar, time blocking. We do sales meetings with our sales team. Most of it's virtual. We have a lot of salespeople that are spread out all over the country, and then a lot of traveling. But I do realize the importance of sometimes taking some time, even in the middle of a work day. And if I really need a mental decompression, I can go take a walk and then realize that I'll have to log back in an hour or so later in the evening after the kids go to bed if I need to catch up on something. But really realizing when I'm most productive too, and when I have my peaks of energy and when I have my slumps and how I can get out of that. So it's really just being aware of my body, my physical requirements of what drives me too, and then just planning around it. So it shifts every
Yeah.
day from day to day, really. Nothing looks the same.
Every day is different, and that's what I love about it. I'm not sure I could do monotony because monotony, just the word itself, sounds really boring to me. Every day being the same. And so for me, I'm excited to see what every 24 hours brings. And before I let you go, I want to know, what is your mentor moment? What do you want to share with our listeners? How do you want them to remember that advice from Brittany?
I would say that most meaningful pieces of advice that I could give wrap up a lot of what we've talked about is really just the importance of being authentic, being yourself, viewing the people that you communicate with on a regular basis as equals, and having conversations as if they are just a conversation between two people without the pressure of expectations. That is freeing and also really important in developing who you are in business and who people can relate to you as. I think that's something that's been really important and meaningful for me as I've grown and as I've learned who I want to be in this business. And that was actually something that one of my mentors taught me early on.
Yeah, that's a great advice. I so appreciate it. Brittany, how can everyone find you and follow your journey?
I'm on Instagram, Brittney_Fairweather. Our website is trxcapfund.com. We're TRX Cap Fund on Instagram. That's where we're at.
We will be excited to follow your authentic journey through work and life. And thanks for being one of our mentors today. Really
Thank you
appreciate
so
your
much for
time.
having me. I appreciate it.
Before you go, a huge thank you for being a part of this episode. I hope it left you with a spark of inspiration. And if you haven't already, hit that follow button and subscribe button to stay connected. Now is a great time. Your reviews are the heartbeat of our podcast. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, a review would really mean the world to us. Let's keep this conversation going as well on Instagram at Rainy Alfers. Visit us at rainyalfers.com for all episode show notes and also to express your interest to be a guest. Please sign up. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, I'll see you back on Working Women Mentor.